Welcome to the Behind the Bar podcast. Today we're joined with Sophie, our Hospitality Apprentice of the Year. Sophie, if you would like to introduce yourself.
I'm Sophie. I work at the Tollemache Arms in Harrington, so that's Northamptonshire. Little countryside pub, lots of fields. Nothing else really apart from us.
So when did you start working in hospitality?
So I think I was like 15, I want to say. My first job was working in a cafe. And then from there was a deli downstairs. I worked in the kitchen as a chef. Did some baking, kind of everything. And then a year ago, I decided I wanted to start my own dog walking business. So started working at the pub kind of just on the side, but then fell in love with it really. And then here we are, a year later.
Amazing. So was the Tolly your first pub that you have worked
Yeah,
at?
it was, yeah.
Because we know as the BII quite a lot about the Tolly. They were a licensee of the year a couple of years ago. Flo is our workforce mentor. What was your first shift like at the Tolly, do you think?
Honestly, got thrown in at the deep end. All I can remember, came in for a trial shift. I think it was Cam was like, yeah, you've got the job. I was like, great. He was like, start next Saturday. I was like, cool, I'll be there. Literally was so busy. Like a winter Saturday evening. It was crazy and got thrown in at the deep end and apparently smashed it. So
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
How was, because you said you had the dog walking business on the
Yes.
side. How was balancing those two?
I found it fine because usually it's in the morning or obviously we work weekends. No one needs their dogs walking on the weekend. So honestly fine.
What was the thing that made you fall in love with the Tolly or hospitality in general?
I think it was rewarding almost. I feel like in my first job it was just a cafe, people just came for breakfast, whereas going into the Tolly was people having meals, celebrating birthdays, stuff like that, and being able to make that really special. And it was kind of rewarding having people coming up saying thank you to you personally at the end was just nice.
So kind of being a part of their memories in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And just making them feel at home and just catering for them in every way possible, not just getting them food, serving them, but making jokes with them, stuff like that.
So when you realised that the pub was for you, what pushed you into an apprenticeship instead?
I think I wanted to almost gain something from what I was doing. So I'd already have a qualification in animal management, which I did at college.
Understand, with the dog business?
Yes,
that makes sense?
Yeah. And then I kind of wanted something to show for the work I was going to put in and knew that I was going to be able to help out. So I think, and almost just rewarding.
What does the apprenticeship kind of look like? What's your, week, I guess?
I'm a bit of a crammer, honestly. So 3 weeks, just normal. And then the week before that, I'd just be researching different things, whatever it's on. So there's different modules, business, customer, and then just talk through them at the end. And now I'm at the point where I've got a gateway meeting in January, which will then give me my date for my endpoint assessment, and then I'll be done.
Amazing. And what level was it again that you
Level
doing?
3.
In front of house management or?
Front of house supervisor.
Okay. When you finish this apprenticeship, whether you might not know yet, but would you continue going down the levels, or do you think this would be
So I'm planning to go travelling in a couple of months around Europe, and then when I get back from that, I definitely want to have a look at doing the next level. I also want to try and get some experience in the kitchen, just because then I can kind of know where everyone's at. And
Hospitality Apprentice of the Year.
Yes.
That is one of our big awards that we do yearly, and it takes a lot of time for you.
Yes, yeah.
What made you decide to enter the Apprentice of the Year?
Flo kind of mentioned it at first. I always doubt myself and kind of don't see where I actually am. I really put myself down. So she kind of said it and I was like, yeah, it might be nice. I was kind of at the start nah. But yeah, then I entered and then I got through to the final and I was like, oh my God, this is actually real. Yeah. Obviously did the presentation, all quite chill. Then on the night, I was kind of nervous. But yeah, I just wanted kind of to reward myself. because I think I put myself down and I doubt myself a lot. So it was nice to see that, I've actually come somewhere.
And now I'm guessing you have the trophy on your shelf or something to always remind you about it.
Yeah. But I still don't think I realised that it's actually a big deal. Like, afterwards, everyone was like, that's so good. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, just what it is.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, next.
On the actual night, I remember you winning because I was on the table next to you.
Probably remember Flo screaming.
Oh, yes. Managed to get the video and everything. Well, I know I saw how it probably meant to you, but
yeah.
What did it feel like in that moment?
It was so good. I think, especially like obviously before you'd hear like all of the stories of each person that made to the final, and I think hearing that I was like, oh wow, like everyone's really talented. They've got a lot, like everyone else also has a lot going for them. So I think them winning, it was almost like a relief, like the pressure was off my shoulders. Like it was like, oh, it's over now. But yeah, it was really, really, like really happy, honestly. That was probably the main feeling, and like amazed that I'd actually managed to do it.
And what was it like going on stage in front of that many people?
A bit scary, but I remember, so before that, my first awards was Northamptonshire Food Awards, I want to say. So obviously a lot smaller, but still there was a lot of people. I didn't go up, but I think I almost knew what I was expecting. I'd been there, I'd seen that, and yeah.
With your apprenticeship and your career currently in hospitality, has there been a point that stands out where you've doubted yourself in what you've achieved?
I don't know about doubted myself, but kind of thought like, I guess doubted myself, like I don't know if I can do this, but then I've always kind of pulled through. I think it's more when problems come up when I'm at work, like when there's a power cut.
Yeah.
Like that's when I'm like, have I got this in the bag? But then I have, and then it happens again and I'm like, oh, this is easy now. I think more doubting my development more than anything.
Like, is there anything that pulls you through that, or is it just in that moment, I've got to do it?
I think I'm quite determined. I'm very much a perfectionist, so I think that has a lot to play. But I think like if I fail in that, like especially when you're leading the shift, the whole responsibility is on you. Everyone's relying on you to fix the problem, and I think like customers aren't going to have a good experience if there is a power cut and things still don't run smoothly. So I think it's almost just making sure that I'm actually doing my job of making customers have a smooth experience.
What has been, do you think, the hardest thing stepping into that leadership role?
So I think the hardest part for me was kind of differentiating like almost like a friendship. So I think I was only floor staff for about, I don't know, 3 weeks before I kind of started stepping up. Yeah, I think just like separating that. We always talk about it, how you need to kind of be balanced. You can't be entirely a friend, but you can't just be like cold with someone. You've got to get the perfect balance. And I think for me, because I started off at the same level as everyone else, I was very friendly with them. I'm quite loud, I'm quite annoying, I'm quite talkative. Like I have no shame. So like I was very in that. So then when stepping up, it was kind of differentiating that. But I also think that's played to my advantage in some points. Like people are very comfortable coming to me because they kind of see me as almost like a friend that they can come to, which I think is really important, and I'm glad that it kind of worked out in that way, and I now have that relationship with everyone.
With the Tolly, what do you think, has that impacted how you see the hospitality industry?
I think, yeah, probably, because I think Flo cares a lot about other people, and I think from my previous role coming into this role, I definitely felt there was more kind of catch-ups, and that's what I lead on to the others now. I'm kind of in that role of always catching up with them, seeing where they're at, what their next steps are, and I think, seeing someone that actually really cared about you rather than you just doing your job, they care about you as a person, and I think that really showed me that it's not just about getting paid and going home, it's about kind of creating memories for the people, and that people actually care about how you feel rather than just the job.
Yeah, I feel like in hospitality there is that thing of everyone kind of turns into a family of sorts. Want the best
Yeah,
the people
especially
around them.
like you see that at the awards and at the People's Conference, like everyone is kind of together,
Mm-hmm.
although it almost seems like a rivalry between pubs who can get the most customers.
Mm.
Like you find that in the local area, but as like a big industry, everyone really, comes together.
You mentioned that you want to go travelling after this one is done.
Yes.
And that you might look into future apprenticeships or whatever. What do you think your career could look like in hospitality?
I think I don't really have a long-term plan as such, but I think for the moment, I want to stay in the role I am in, stay at the Tolly. I want to learn as much as possible. I think there's always more that someone can learn, and especially like of someone like Flo, who's been in the industry a lot longer and has had more experience. I can learn from her. I've trained up new staff, but really how to almost, I've been mentored. I want to learn how to mentor others. I want to fully develop in the role before I kind of progress on to anything else, just so I know I'm already at my full potential before kind of going further.
I know that the Tolly hosts some big events. Is it Tollfest?
Tollyfest, yeah.
What's it like from, like, because obviously that's Joe and Flo making, like, the big decisions, I would probably say.
Yeah.
Do you get to throw your ideas into the mix?
So in
Making
terms
these
of
ideas come to
Tollyfest, I've not actually worked one because we didn't do one last year. Like the start of this year, I was away, but when I got back, I spoke to Flo and we kind of brainstormed ideas and I said it'd be nice because your ideas can kind of grow off each other. Like someone starts with an idea, someone else adds in. So we often try to have catch-ups with the kitchen guys as well, Flo, Joe, just to kind of put ideas together and then come up with new stuff that we can really use to make the most out of the Tolly.
You might not know the answer to this question, and if you don't, that's okay.
God.
Because of that being such a big event, is there anything that's in like the back of your mind that you think, you know what, that would be an interesting thing to do, but it's just not been made into a thing yet?
I feel like everyone kind of has the same ideas. Like we've spoken about Mother's Day, Father's Day, kind of doing some things. We've done brunch in the past, so we've spoke about maybe doing that more often. We've got like a massive tent outside, so we're kind of at the moment looking at ways to utilise that as much as possible. But we're only just getting the electrics done for it.
Hey, but soon.
Yeah.
Ready for the summer, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
The Tolly are one of like the BII sustainability champions. They use a lot of local businesses and suppliers, and that's one of the things that make them great. How does that affect you? How does that affect the day-to-day, do you think?
It's really lovely because honestly you can just tell customers like everything's local, tastes good. We used a Garage Bakehouse, don't know if you've heard of that, in Hardborough Shower. Garage Bakehouse, banging. It's one of our favourites. And we use their burger buns, bread. Sometimes we treat ourselves to a sweet treat. And then we've got the Warner's Distillery. I'm going down on, what day am I going? Thursday. I've still not, the whole year I've worked there, I've still not done the gin tour, so I'm going down on Thursday. Excited for that. But obviously, I think Warner's the sustainability champion
they
as
are.
well. So it's nice to have that in the village, really local, bloody good gin. It's super nice. And then we've got Troopy. He does all our fruit and veg. It's nice because you just know everyone as well.
Yeah.
Because they're local. We've been using them for ages. You just know everyone. It's like another little community. It's just lovely.
I guess in like, because you use them as a pub, you kind of get to shout them out.
There's us, there's Warner's, and then there's a little B&B as well, Church Farm. So that's kind of like the little triangle, so we all support each other. People go to the gin tour, come to us for dinner, and then stay across the road at the
Perfect.
B&B. It's a lovely little getaway. But it's nice to just be able to support each other, recommend each other. Like there's no competition, we're all just there to help each other out. And it's just nice.
Because we were saying about the impact that some of these like local businesses have. Do you see any sort of impact to the pub? So like if you've mentioned a certain bakery, do they always come back? Or
I think people always ask where stuff is from. Like the bread, everyone is always like, where's this from? It's so nice. We can tell them. I don't think it's necessarily something that customers will say to your face. Like if you're like, how is that? How is this? When you're doing a chat back, they're not going to say, I love this local beef Do you know what I mean? But I think they know in their head that it's local. It's always going to be good quality because it's local. You know where it's come from. It's traceable. If people ask, where is it from? We always write it. We've got blackboards. We always write where it's from so people know that it's super local. And I think it probably does keep some people coming back. I probably wouldn't say that it's something that people look for when they're going out, but I think probably when people see it, they're like, oh, let's come back. We know it's local.
Like a nice surprise.
Yeah, I think, we do shout about it and people know that. So, yeah, they'll probably come back because they know it.
If someone was looking to do an apprenticeship in the sector, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say just take the jump. Honestly, not very helpful, but like you're not going to get anywhere just sitting there thinking, should I do it? Like the worst case, you don't like it, you can stop doing it, but you're probably going to love it. And the thing I love about the apprenticeship, I think, is that it's like a working apprenticeship. Like at school, I was never very good at just sitting there doing lessons, studying, like just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But being able to just get out there, get into the pub, learn through doing, rather than just sat there studying is really helpful, and you kind of just learn to love it.
If someone had the choice between a full-time position or an apprenticeship, in your opinion, would the apprenticeship be something that is more beneficial, or do you think they're about the same in different
I'd probably
areas?
say, definitely apprenticeship is more beneficial. I think I've learned not just kind of stuff on the surface, but I've learned like a lot deeper meanings to kind of what we do day to day. I kind of see all the background work that's I put the background work in as well now, but like when I started, you just see kind of the surface, but now like I see stuff like getting ready for service, everything we have to do in the back, allergens, like we've just put a new menu on, like learning every single thing about the dishes. Like there's so much more to it, and I think not only have I now learnt that through the apprenticeship, but it's made me realise that it's not just the stuff that everyone sees on the surface, but there's so much more behind it. So yeah, I think it's definitely more beneficial, and you get the qualification, and you might win Apprentice of the Year.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for joining us here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.